I didn't know what I was going to do for this video. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Until I figured, why don't I do something different? I decided, why don't I talk about my favorite childhood shows? Well, at least my top favorite childhood shows. Now, to start the list off, the new ScoobyDoo movies. Now, let me tell you, you're probably wondering, how are you watching those? Those shows probably came out in like the 80s. Well, they did come out in the 80s, but luckily for me, in Canada, here we had an old, well, it wasn't really old, but a new, like a network that would show old shows, and I can say the new Scooby-Doo movies was one of the top shows I would watch on there. I loved when they would unmask the villain, and then their plans were just thoroughly done with, and then afterwards the villain would start complaining. It was so satisfying for me to watch as a young child because I loved seeing bad people get what they deserve. It was literally the best. Now, the next show, The Little Prince. The Little Prince was like one of my favorite shows also. I loved The Little Prince. Now, I would watch it in English and in French, but the English one was one I would watch the most. The Little Prince, I had a huge crush on The Little Prince when I was younger. I loved The Little Prince. The story with the fox and the flower and everything, I just loved it when they would go to each and every planet and solve their problems. I really liked it. It was really helping me with problem solving when I was younger. I feel like because of that show, it really helped build my problem solving skills. I really do think that show really helped me. But nonetheless, that show will forever remain in my heart. Next show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar: The Last Airbender will forever stay in my heart. The characters were so well written. I have the best show I have probably ever will probably ever list on this thing. I think that show is really the standard for what TV shows should be today. The Little Prince, not The Little Prince, Jesus. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the best. Anyway, next show was Dora the Explorer. Now, as for Dora, I was obsessed with her. I just found myself constantly talking about her. I had the dolls, I had the merch, the backpack, the everything. I wanted to be Dora. Dora was my life. I loved Dora so much. I would try to make every conversation, everything about her. I just loved Dora with all my heart. Dora forever. Anyways, on to the next one. The Adventures of Tintin. Tintin was my favorite. Every day before going to bed, Tintin. Snowy was adorable. I wanted a Snowy. I was afraid of dogs when I was younger, and let me tell you why. I was chased by a dog at the age of 4 and then I fell over, and then I scraped my knees, and then I started crying, and I was bawling like a baby. But Snowy, I knew if I had a Snowy in my life, I would never have been chased by a dog. I would have never been chased by a Snowy because Snowy was just adorable. Snowy would be kidnapped most of the time, but Snowy would find a way to get himself out of it. And I just love Snowy. Snowy was like my favorite character on there. And Tintin, he was really cool. I figured he was like literally on par with like Spider-Man or something when I was younger. I just loved Tintin. Anyway, to end that conversation, on to the next show. Batman Brave and the Bold. Now, Batman was my most favorite show. I was obsessed. If you told me what superhero was your favorite when I was younger, I would either say Batman or Spider-Man. But even though I loved Spider-Man, Batman was my top favorite superhero as a kid. Batman was just Batman. I just loved Batman all the time. Batman Brave and the Bold, I loved it. Every day watching it, just like, I love the way they wrote Batman's character in the show. I just love the problems he would find himself in and how he'd get himself out because he's Batman and he's so tactical and very, he just thinks he's so smart. I just loved Batman. It was like one of my favorites. I don't really know how to end off this video, but it was really good to get all of that out of my chest. This video is probably really awkward, but if you watched until the end, thanks for watching, and subscribe or whatever you want. Bye.